right, yo, what's up, everybody? Let's get it. Welcome into A Bettor Morning, brought to you by Rival Fantasy. Rival Fantasy is your all-in-one fantasy sports platform. Good morning to each and every last single one of you by your name. I'm Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. What's going on this morning? A little bit later on in the program, we'll talk about and discuss Rival Fantasy. Got another winning email in my inbox this week, so let you know how to get some winning emails in your inbox on that all-in-one fantasy sports platform. A little waiver wire talk coming up. Obviously, Justin Jefferson news not good this morning. Wake up to news that Justin Jefferson, top two wide receivers, and one of the top two wide receivers, in our hobby, looks like he's going to be out for about a month or so. Really the first injury of Justin Jefferson's career. His availability has been very good so far this year, but the number one overall pick in most fantasy leagues will be looking like he'll be out for a month dealing with a hamstring injury. Want to take some early look at some at some week 6 lines. Seen a couple things already. I think you might want to hop on ASAP so you can have a winning weekend. I feel very good about the week 6 slate. So you can expect to see some parlays flying around. But I got to start off with what took place last night out there in Las Vegas. Seeing the Sphere all lit up for Monday Night Football. Well, the Las Vegas Raiders got their second win of the year, a 17-13 victory over the Packers. The Raiders covered the 2.5. The under also comes in as well. Those are 2 tickets that cashed on that one last night. The ones I gave you yesterday, under Jordan Love passing yards, that was a ticket that cashed as well. So feel pretty good about that one. Also, Jimmy Garoppolo under on his passing yards came in. But Love was a bad night for Love. 16-13, 182, 3 interceptions thrown, sacked twice. Jimmy Garoppolo, 22-31, got the job done, was decent. 208 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Josh Jacobs, 20 carries for 69 yards. Also, Jacoby Myers catch 7 passes for 75 yards and a touch. Devontae Adams comes in 4 for 45. Not a big night for Adams. If you needed him for a Monday night miracle, it likely did not happen. Christian Watson, 9 for 31 for the Green Bay Packers. Luke Musgrave, 6 for 34. So, listen, basically nothing spectacular. Average football game on a Monday night in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? The Packers, 4-12 on third down. Nothing spectacular there. Turned the ball over a bunch. It's really 2 mediocre to sub-mediocre teams who, will have good points throughout the course of the season, but really nothing much to see here with these 2 franchises as they come down the stretch. Listen, I think Jordan Love will, get a shot to continue to be the Packers quarterback. I think at some point, if the Raiders and Josh McDaniels plan on becoming a contender in the AFC, they're going to need to start to look for their franchise quarterback. So really nothing much. 2 teams that'll probably be, in the playoff mix somewhat, but not realistically for the majority of the season. So that's what you got on Monday Night Football to start the week off. Now, I'm going to touch on some waiver wire names right quick. Like I tell you, man, listen, if you're in a 12-team league that's halfway competitive, it's very difficult to find talent or replacement level type players on the waiver wire, particularly with the bye week starting to come into fruition now. So it's going to get a little bit tougher. You're going to start to see some names in starting lineups that you normally would not see in starting lineups, right? So, listen, if they're out there, grab them. If not, good luck. Roschon Johnson, I would probably say number 1 target this week. So what happened with my man Khalil Herbert. So Roschon Johnson, Chicago Bears rookie running back, more than likely rostered in your league already. But if not, he'd be the number 1 guy to go after this week. Logan Thomas, tight end for the Washington Commanders. Tight end has been a disaster so far this year. But Thomas is getting some targets. We see that Sam Howell likes to target the middle of the field. Logan Thomas took that big hit early in the year, back off that concussion. And Thomas has been pretty solid this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is not going to be a league winner. But in a place like tight end, where the work has really been terrible this year, a guy who gets targeted every game, 11 targets this past week. Now, you don't always expect that, but, he can be a serviceable tight end moving forward if you need help with the tight end position in Logan Thomas. Quentin Johnson, doing that replacement thing for Big Mike Williams. Johnson hasn't really hit so far yet this season like some of the other rookie wide receivers have. He'll get an opportunity. He'll get some more looks. Not really sure what kind of production that's going to lead to, but he is available. Tyjae Spears is a name that I do like a lot, running back for the Tennessee Titans. He's an electric player. He had a very good game this weekend. Derrick Henry is not running well. Are we seeing the end of King Henry? I think we're starting to see a little bit of a downturn. That offense in general does not really dictate to too much fantasy production. Even though D-Hop went crazy this week, that's like a one-off. If you want to be 100% honest with you, in my opinion, I think D-Hop is cooked like Dalvin. So Tyjae Spears is a dude that I'm in on this year. I'm not saying King Henry is cooked, but I think Tyjae Spears can comfortably go into starting lineups. Jeff Wilson Jr., that Miami offense, you want to have any parts of it that you can. Josh Reynolds with this on and off injury to Amon-Ra St. Brown, interesting as well. Another name on the list is Brandon Cooks. You really got to be scraping the bottom of the barrel to go to Brandon Cooks. But maybe a guy like Raheem Shaheed, Justice Hill, Zay Jones, hard for me to say that. Josh Downs is interesting. KJ Osborne with that injury to Justin Jefferson could be a guy that you can see tick up on the waiver wire this week, as well as guys like Josh Downs, Kendre Miller, Jaden Reed, Sam Howell, Musgrave, really Jonathan Mango. You already see that the targets really go to Adam Thielen, so nothing really much on the waiver wire. And that sucks. Like, I wish I had a magic wand that I can wave and make everybody's waiver wire plentiful. But I don't have that capability. I don't have those kind of magical powers where I can wave a magic wand and boom, Tyreek Hill is sitting on your waiver wire. It's not going to happen. This is the part of the year where you're going to be picking up some Jonathan Mangos. You're going to be looking at a 2.7 in the PPR in your starting lineup. It could happen. There's a lot of bad offensive teams this year too, so it could happen even more this year. Nothing on the waiver wire. What do you want me to do? I'm the fantasy executive. I'm not a magician. I can't poof, you know what I'm saying? And boom, Jerome Ford's on your waiver wire. I can't do that. I don't have those capabilities. I can tell you how to win rival fantasy, you know what I'm saying? I can point you into the right direction, and that direction is to the Fantasy Alarm All-Pro subscription, where you can unlock all the content for all sports, including annual draft guides, daily and weekly rankings, value vault, position coaches, and more. You can go to fantasyalarm.com/win and get that information. But me, myself, personally, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not in my bag of tricks to make people mysteriously pop into your waiver wire and your league mates don't grab them before you do. Don't have that kind of power. But the people over at Fantasy Alarm with that all-pro subscription can send you on your way, because basketball is right around the corner now too. You know what I'm saying? So you want to start to get ready for them good DFS nights that's coming up with football, basketball, Major League Baseball playoffs, which I'll touch on in a minute. But I want to take an early look at what's going on this week. It starts off with Thursday night football, Amazon Prime. Kansas City, a 10.5-point favorite over Denver. Normally, I would never back Kansas City laying 10 versus Denver when it's double-digit spread in their home building in a primetime game. But there's no way you can click on the Denver Broncos. Baltimore and Tennessee International Series, if I'm not mistaken, this weekend. And I look at Baltimore. This is a bounce back spot for the Ravens, but you really don't feel good about laying 3 in the hook with Baltimore. But I do think this is a bounce back spot for the Ravens, but I need to see more from Baltimore right now. I'm not satisfied. I can't take my money to the counter on Baltimore Ravens in the ATS situation. In the money line situation, sure. In the ATS situation, probably. But International Series is not really something that I like to get down with anyway. It's like my handicapping is still handicapping that time on Sunday mornings. You know what I'm saying? So International Series at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's a 9:30 a.m. Eastern time start, so make sure you have your lineup set early on Sunday morning. But really, it's no reason to ever take dudes like Lamar Jackson out your lineup, whatever the case may be. Carolina goes to Miami. 13.5 is a big number. But what does Carolina do to make you think that they can keep up with Miami? Nothing. So I'm not laying it, but I'm definitely not taking Carolina. Seattle and Cincinnati. This is interesting right here. Cincinnati's a 2.5-point favorite at home. I would take the 2.5 with the Seahawks. San Francisco laying 5 on the road versus the Cleveland Browns. You know we must genuflect at the altar of the soon-to-be Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers. The parade in the Bay Area. Now they're going to have to board up the CVS's so they don't steal out of them. But there will be a parade in San Francisco this year. After 5 weeks of NFL football, we've already known that San Francisco is the best team. Let's go ahead and plan the parade for them. All right, but I think that they're going to listen. I'm not doubting San Francisco, put it like that. But I want to see what kind of game Deshaun Watson has versus this 49er defense. New Orleans Saints, Houston Texans in Houston, a little Bayou Bowl right here. Bayou Bowl down there in that southwest area. I would take the 1.5 with the Texans. Jacksonville and Indianapolis. If I'm not mistaken, Jacksonville owns Indianapolis. Yes, I lay the 4 with the Jags. Minnesota and Chicago. I'm not betting on Kirk Cousins. Washington and Atlanta. This is an interesting one right here. I'm going to take the 2.5 with the Commanders. You say, how can you say that after what you just saw from the Commanders on Thursday Night Football last week where the Boo Birds was out in their home stadium? Yeah, I think the Commanders will play better on the road than they do at home. That's how they look this year. Like I always tell you, the hardest thing to do in sports betting is to forget what your eyes just saw. Your eyes just saw the Commanders be a DOG dog in their home building versus the bum-ass Bears. And now you're going to tell me they're going to go on the road and beat the Atlanta Falcons? Atlanta sitting there at 2.5 is a trap. Take the Commanders in that one right there. Take the 2.5 coming back with Washington. I love that play this week. What else do we got? Detroit Lions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lions laying 3.5 on the road. That 3 with that hook is very intriguing with Tampa Bay. It also was very intriguing with Dallas this week. I'm not sleeping on the Detroit Lions. New England and the Raiders, because the schedule said so. I mean, do you really want to lay points with the Raiders? I know you just did last night, and it turned out good. But now you're going to do it in back-to-back weeks? I'm not sure. The Eagles playing back-to-back road games. This week, they're in New York at the Jets, laying 6.5. Philadelphia Eagles had probably what I would think the most impressive win of any team so far this season when they went out to Los Angeles last week and really dominated the game versus the Rams. Listen, I can clearly say right now that I think Jalen Hurts is the second best quarterback in the NFL. He is getting the job done. Unfortunately, I'm a supporter of Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to tell the truth. No cap Corey. If I see it, I got to say it. And Jalen Hurts has been the man so far this season. He can play hero ball. He can win the game by himself. He's legit. Arizona goes to the Rams. You know the Rams dominate the Cardinals historically. Laying 6.5 is a big number, though. But I probably would end up doing that because I think the Rams side, I think the Cardinal side could be a trap. The Giants go up to Buffalo. They probably score be 40-14. And then the Dallas Cowboys are a 2-point road favorite against the Chargers. Might as well not even call that a road game. You know it's going to be nothing but Dallas Cowboy fans in there. Then the Cowboys bounce back nicely Monday Night Football this week. So that's really an early kind of look. Haven't really fully handicapped this weekend's card yet, but I will say this. I like the Commanders. I like the Seahawks. I like those two teams getting 2.5 on the road. I think those are two plays that I like already. Probably would go to the window with those right now, and then we'll see how the rest of the slate shakes out. I'm going to be here all week. I'm not going anywhere, y'all. Last night, Major League Baseball, Philadelphia Phillies, Atlanta Braves out there in Atlanta. The Braves get a 5-4 victory, an amazing double play to end the game. So shout out to the Atlanta Braves. That series tied up 1 game apiece, headed to Philadelphia. It's going to be a good series. 2 good competitive teams, 2 good baseball markets. Like to see that. The Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are like the Dallas Cowboys, bro. Diamondbacks 4, Dodgers 2. Diamondbacks in their 84 wins now have a 2-0 series lead with the series going to Arizona. Your man, last night it was Brad Miller not getting it done for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Zach Gallen, electric for the Diamondbacks. Tonight, Major League Baseball playoff action. The Baltimore Orioles, the poverty franchise that is the Baltimore Orioles. Oh, we the big bad Orioles. We here now, 101 wins. Going on the road tonight, down 2-0 to the Texas Rangers. Yeah, please. If Baltimore Orioles get swept out this first round, it's going to be Baltimore Orioles fans are going to hear about this one. But the Orioles in the spot tonight. Creamer versus Evaldi. Texans are -140 favorite. The total comes in at 9. Baltimore Orioles need a victory in Arlington tonight. And then you got the Houston Astros going to Minnesota for the Twins. This series already tied at 1 apiece. Twins trying to take a 2-1 series lead in their home building tonight. Twins $1.35 favorite. Total sitting at 8. Javier versus Gray. And that contest right there. So we got you caught up to date on that stuff right there. So we good. We straight. But we not done yet because I got to tell you about Rival Fantasy, the all-in-one fantasy sports platform where you can play challenges, Fantasybook, Fantasy Bingo, plus season-long fantasy football. Matter of fact, you can reboot your league over at Rival. If your fantasy football season is already a bust, draft a second chance season-long league with Rival Fantasy and receive $250 in cash prizes. Go to joinrival.com/alarm. Here's the catch. New users who sign up at Rival Fantasy get a $200 deposit match and a complimentary first play voucher. You know what, Heather? Let's head over there to Rival Fantasy now and see what they got for the fantasy executive. Let's see if we can get a little bit of fantasy challenges action. Oh, and we got the cheetah. Tyreek Hill versus the Carolina Panthers. Pat Mahomes at home on Thursday night. Give me the cheetah. Give me Tyreek Hill in this one right here. Shout out to Tyreek Hill. He's been getting it done. Now with Justin Jefferson hurt, he's the top wide receiver in fantasy options. So I'll go ahead and take the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. Then we got Pat Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts. I just told you I think Jalen Hurts, second best quarterback in football. The best quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, but I like Jalen Hurts this weekend because Jalen Hurts, like I said, that hero ball is very attractive from Jalen Hurts, particularly for fantasy purposes. Then you got Pat Mahomes versus Christian McCaffrey. Give me my boy CMC. That usage on CMC is unbelievable. And then it's Tua versus Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has not been dominant so far this year. Give me Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. So there you go right there. Do not forget to go on over and check out Rival Fantasy. It is the all-in-one fantasy sports platform. Play challenges, fantasy book, fantasy bingo, plus season-long fantasy football. You can reboot your league over there. You may need to. I got a couple I need to reboot. I need to go over there myself. Now, if your fantasy season is already a bust, draft a second chance season-long league with Rival Fantasy. Receive $250 in cash prizes. Go to joinrival.com/alarm. New users, that deposit matches all the way up to $200, courtesy of the good folks at Fantasy Alarm, A Bettor Network, and Rival Fantasy. Now, what I need you guys to do for me tonight, you have homework. Your homework assignment is to start getting ready for week 6 of the NFL season, right? That is your homework assignment. We got to come back here tomorrow. We got to have good discussions. We got to get in-depth breakdowns of what's going on in the National Football League so we can get some bread this weekend. We need to figure out how we're going to replace Justin Jefferson, even though you can't really replace Justin Jefferson, top wide receiver in fantasy. You know what I'm saying? You may have to make some trades. So we'll take a lot of questions on that stuff and things of that nature tomorrow right here on A Bettor Morning as we get ready to push towards week number 6 of the season. So there you go. Fantasy executive, quick and easy, painless. It didn't hurt one bit to sit up here with the fantasy executive, get a rundown of what's going on, get an early look at week 6 of the NFL season. Mind you, I'm ready to bet Washington now, and I'm ready to also wager on the Seattle Seahawks now. I think those two are bets that I like probably the best this week. little bit of contrarian with that Commanders play right there. But for the lovely and talented Heather Klein, it's your boy Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. As always, wishing you a better morning, and make sure you stay attuned for Moose and Keith a little bit later.